Since 1992, Genesis House has been helping real people heal from addiction on their private recovery campus in beautiful Palm Beach County, Florida. Their family-owned program is accredited by the Joint Commission and offers detox and dual diagnosis treatment in a comfortable and confidential setting. At Genesis House, they focus on treating the underlying causes of addiction. Their comprehensive approach includes psychiatric care, individual and small group therapy, trauma healing techniques, and holistic care including yoga, massage, and animal-assisted therapy. After treatment, their clients enjoy the lifelong support of a nationwide network of Genesis House alumni. Call Genesis House today at 1-800-737-0933 to speak with someone who understands. Visit them on the web at www.genesishouse.net. It's time to start your journey to a long and successful recovery.
Friends in Recovery, the Addiction Recovery Podcast, is brought to you by the Friends in Recovery community, a thriving network of individuals who are fighting back against the stigma of addiction. Join our hosts as they speak up about the real issues of addiction, treatment, and recovery. Friends in Recovery, the Addiction Recovery Podcast, is available on Facebook, Podbean, iTunes, and YouTube 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Now, here are your Friends in Recovery.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Friends in Recovery Podcast. I'm your host, Jersey Ed, along with my two beautiful co-hosts, Skylar, Noontime with Sky, and is it Tiff P today or Tiff or
It's Tiff P today.
Today. All right. We never know what it's going to be with Tiff. So we roll the dice when we come on here, and it's Tiff P today. So, hi ladies, how are you ladies doing? I was saying, how are you guys doing today? Everybody's good?
Yeah. We're good. It's really nice here in Minnesota. I'm going to a car show today. I'm really excited about that. I was going to do my FIR from the car there, but they were started like super early. And I was like, no, I won't be doing that today. Another day.
There you go.
So next week I'll be doing maybe an FIR from the car, a real cool car.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Or outside of the car or something. I don't know.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
First and foremost, I'd like to thank Genesis House for their ongoing support for this podcast. Without them, we would be here today. And I also want to thank everybody on Facebook Live for coming on. Carl, Bambi, of course. I want to take a moment and say, Bambi is our number one raving fan, along with Carl and Joe right there below her. And, I want to thank you guys for always coming on here and supporting us and probably laughing behind the scenes at us at everything we do, but that's okay because we're secure in our recovery today.
Yeah, no, Bambi laughs out of identification. I can confirm that. Trust me.
I think, yeah. And I think Bambi deserves some Friends in Recovery merchandise.
He does. So. Actually, I think I might have a cup left. But
a Yeti?
Yes, I think I do.
Yeah. Send her the nice Yeti.
Yeah.
I think I do. And we'll get her some stuff out. So today's show, guys, is the step 6. We are entirely ready to have God remove all these defects of characters. So stay tuned for some amazing recovery. The literature we're going to be using today is Tiffany's going to be using the 12 and 12, the Life Recovery Workbook, part of a couple of excerpts from the Big Book, and the Daily Reflections, which is always my favorite. Sky is our NA girl. There it is. Boom. Let's get something there for the NA booms, right? We'll do something there for that. She's going to be using the NA workbook, the how and why, and the basic text. And today I will be using the 12 and 12 and the Daily Reflections because all the rest of my other shit is packed away. And this is one of the books that I have right now. So I will be using them until my furniture and boxes get here. Okay, well, I'll go into a little bit more later. We have some sober shout outs. I'm going to let Skylar go first because she has like 3 pages of sober shout outs.
Yeah, I definitely do. This week's been, I think it's because it's a new month, so we got to, new month, new dates coming up.
Everybody got sober after Memorial Day.
Yeah, they were all like, you know what? So I have Shay T. She's a Friends in Recovery, 3 years this month.
Hey.
Peter T. He's another friend in recovery, 90 days this month.
Yeah, Peter.
I have an alumni, Jules P. with 3 years this month.
Right.
I have a
I know Jules.
Yeah.
All right. 3 years. Congratulations, Jules.
Yep. And then I also have two people from my home group. Jessica R is celebrating 28 years. And
Wow.
Jolene from Canada. Jess is from Chicago and Jolene's from Canada, and she's celebrated a year. And then Ashley L with 1 year from Canada as well. Anthony R is an alumni, 30 days. James
Wow.
V, an alumni, 60 days. Mary V, 60 days, and she's also an alumni. And then I just want to give a shout out to Hisham A. He joined our home group this week, and he's from Egypt, and he's new to the fellowship, and he's just really kicking butt. And I just want to shout him out and let him know how proud of him I am, his awareness, and just being a part of this process.
Yeah.
That's all I got for all my shout outs.
Deanne D is an alumni. She is 30 days. So yeah, awesome for you, Deanne. She just got home. So
Yes, she's doing good.
awesome.
On meetings. I was on Bambi's meeting this morning, and she was there bright and she was just ready to go. So
It looks great.
does look really good. So congratulations, Deanne. And is that all you have? Shout outs?
Yep.
That's all I have.
Okay, good. Oh, wow. So, wow, that was a quick, fast shout out thing. But of course, I have my two standard shout outs to Dayton Strong Recovery 101, Joe, who's on here now. Joe, thank you for all you do on your show. Joe has some really good short clips that he does. Sometimes they go a little bit longer. Sometimes there's interviews. Go check him out. Dayton Strong Recovery 101. And there's this show called Sober Pod something.
Bean Pod.
Yeah. Sober Pod guys, you know them quite well. And you know Carl and Chelsea over there on the left coast. And Carl gets up early to join us on Saturday mornings. Well, we have to make believe it's Tuesday, but Tuesday. But Carl, thank you so much for everything you do for us. Carl is a big inspiration to me, guys. He really is. When I'm kind of in my mode and I have to take a step back, and I call Carl, and he's always there for me, man, always. And I appreciate that. So listen to Sober Pod, guys. On top of being a good guy, a nice guy, let's say a nice guy. Okay. Carl,
what a gentleman.
He's a good guy.
He is a good guy. That the show is amazing too. I just don't go a week without listening to Sober Pod. So if you want to get a shout out, guys, on the air, please email us at help@friendsandrecoverypodcast.com, and we'll be sure to get your shout outs there. Please, maybe if you want to, kind of whatever the shout out is, if you're sober today, if you're, happy, if you're getting married, if you're getting divorced, whatever it is, give us a shout out. help@friendsandrecoverypodcast.com. Quick meeting update. Tip is going to give us where you can find all of our 12-step meetings and Friends in Recovery community meetings that we do a couple times a week.
All right. We host meetings, the Friends in Recovery group, Friends in Recovery community. What we do is we host 2 meetings a day at 12 noon and 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Twice a day. They can be both now found on the AA-intergroup website. So if you want to refer somebody there, otherwise you can always look in our show notes and they're listed there. So you can find those. And then don't forget, we still have that coin challenge. So if you attend 30 meetings, you get the Friends of Recovery coin. So that's still out there with Bill and Bob on there with face masks until we get our second generation coin. And then also don't forget to join us on social media, or look for us on social media, share our stuff so we can help reach more people in recovery. So we're on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, all those things. And before I move on and throw it back to Ed in the newsroom, I promised my kids I would do this, that we had 3 birthdays. So Asa turned 8 on May 18th. I forgot to mention his during the last show. Amelie turned 15 on the 1st, and Austin turns 23 on the 8th before the show comes out. So yeah, it's a busy household.
Taurus and Gemini?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. And Chris's was May 9th. I should probably mention that too, but happy
He's kind of the
birthday,
bomb
Chris.
too.
It's all about you. So there's my family birthday announcements for the month.
Heck yeah, that's awesome.
We're going to go through Tiff's family tree today. Welcome to the
Yeah.
family.
Yeah, Chris's mom was also May 18th.
Bring in the in-laws.
That's funny. Well, guys, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share the show, guys. We need you to share this show. Get it on your social media and get it out there. Share to wherever you can get it, because the more people that gets to see this show, the more people get to stay sober. We get higher views. We get this, that, and the other thing. Whatever social media does to bump us up. It's because of the likes, shares, and subscribes. And also the 5-star review helps out a lot too. So take a moment, get on there, do the 5-star review, and give us a good review, because that also helps. So I'd like to welcome everybody in Facebook Live. We do it every show. It's been working very well, wouldn't you say, ladies?
Yeah, I like it. I like the interaction. I love it all.
Great. Yeah.
Give a little shout out to Stacy, who just said, hey.
Hey. Say it.
Oh, I didn't know.
Yeah. Hey, girl. Hey.
Hey, girl.
Hey. Oh my gosh.
Thanks, Carl. I love pickles.
I'm a little slow.
I know. But anyways, so you know what time it is, guys. It is time for
Question of the week.
That's right. Question of the week. Oh, God. So the question of the week this week comes from our lovely ladies here. So I asked, I always try to come up with a question of the week, and I'm like, fuck it, let somebody else come up with a question of the week. Another one of my character defects, getting pissed off. We'll talk more about that in a moment. But I said, let's have other people to participate. So all of a sudden, I get 9 million questions on my text, right, going back and forth. I'm like, I think this is a bad idea. Maybe I should just pick the fucking question.
You've never asked the two of us before. You always ask Jeff or whatever. Like, what would
So we just jumped on it. We were like, yes.
Yeah. So many good questions too. So
felt so empowered.
Yes, exactly. So we did have a lot of good ones, and I don't know which one of you ladies said this, but welcome, Jordan. Hello, Jordan is here. She loves the question of the week, and she loves you ladies. She never said anything about Jersey Ed. And
I got a friend request. We're Facebook official this week.
Oh, are you?
Yeah. That's a big deal to me. Yeah. She's in my life. She's in my circle now.
Yeah.
Wrap.
I love it.
Oh, good. So Bambi's waiting for the question of the week that the ladies came up with. And I really like this, and I had to do some really thinking and digging on this one. So the question of the week is, what is your most memorable concert you've been to and why? Right. And that's a pretty loaded question, right? Because of recovery, because of using, because it might trigger something. Maybe we should give like a trigger alert here too.
Disclaimer.
Yeah. Disclaimer, right? But
a tailgate trigger alert.
Yeah.
Trigger alert.
Exactly.
No, but you can tailgate like in recovery. Like we did it with my brother. Like there was people drinking, and but like I wasn't around it. We were in our own little area. We had a grill. So.
Of course.
Hey, we could plan that on our next one of our next sober adventures.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
We brought cornhole and everything with us.
Yeah. Love it.
Yep. So ladies, let's start with you. I don't know which one of you came up with this question. Who was it?
I think it was me, and then Skylar made a comment about it. I'm like, why?
We'll start with you, Tiff.
Oh yeah.
What's your most memorable question? Your most memorable concert you've been to and why? And thank you, Carl, for putting that up there.
This took a lot of to narrow it down to one was a big deal.
Yeah.
But it was kind of twofold, the reasons I chose this one. And it was because of some chatter that was going back and forth around the question of the week. And it comes back to my mom again. I went to the Bare Naked Ladies. So she took me to the Bare Naked Ladies, or I can't even remember why I had the tickets, but anyway, but you guys, I was 8.5 months pregnant, and I was it was June. So this was right before Austin was born. So this was 23 years ago. And I was so fat. I was so fat and puffy. Like literally, I had to be pushed in a wheelchair because I couldn't walk. I couldn't bend my knees. And anyway, because we were pushed in a wheelchair and I was so pregnant, we got the greatest seats in the house. Like they pushed us to this like special area. And so we got to watch the Bare Naked Ladies. It was pretty fun, and we got to exit out ahead of time with an escort and all this stuff. But one more time where my mom showed up for me, I don't know. I can't even remember why the two of us went to that.
Did someone bail on you that was supposed to go with you? And like she came through?
I think, yeah.
I feel like that's
what it was.
Right. Like, and that would really mean something because she stepped up and took it.
Definitely was because she stepped up again. And like, again, one of those memorable times. And that's around the time when her and I really started to have a relationship anyway. Okay. Because I was starting to have kids and, we were all, making progress in our lives and things like that. And I wanted her to be involved. So yeah, it was a good time for her. And I remember she was sober during that time too. So that was really a memorable time for me too. So she was also not using or drinking or anything else like that. So
nice.
Yeah.
I wrote down BNL.
Bare Naked Ladies.
I wrote down Brian Wilson's song because I got to add that to my playlist because I haven't heard that in years, and that's a great song.
I would
so thank
walk
you for the reminder.
And I would walk 500 more.
I'm trying to think. So I narrowed it down. Like, so concerts were my thing, man. Like growing up, like I loved concerts. You know what I mean? Like even before I was getting high. My first concert was the Beach Boys on the beach in Wildwood, and this is like years and years ago. And the whole reason we got in this is definitely one of my favorites. The whole reason we got it, and I was literally probably like 5, 6 years old, and I remember like a guy passed the ticket to my dad through the gate. I literally remember him passing it to him, and that's how we got in. And the kids were free. And like that was my first concert. It was like packed. There's people everywhere, people putting beach balls up in the air and stuff and crowd surfing. And I was like, wow. And then probably my first concert in recovery, which was Slayer and Foo Fighters. Very interesting first concert in recovery. But I was there clean with like 10 of us in recovery. If you added all of our clean time together, probably 100 years. You know what I mean? Like all walking together in this. And then we were playing like this hugging game. And we would just like try to get points by getting hugs, and we were doing it sober, like just having fun. Like, and I loved it.
Free hugs.
Yeah.
Free hugs.
That's it.
Sky out there with a sandwich board. Free hugs. Free concert hugs.
Well, so that's the Beach Boys. And who was the other one, Sky? I was trying to read a comment when you were your second.
Slayer and
Foo Fighters.
That's it, Slayer. I knew it was something like from my friggin' time. I'm trying to read a comment on there. I'm like listening, trying to read the comment. I'm like, shit, maybe I shouldn't read comments why people are talking.
No, right? You can't.
You can't because you lose everything, right? You lose
too much ADD in this Zoom meeting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, let me tell you.
All different kinds too.
Oh yeah. If a psychiatrist came on here and watched the show, oh my God.
Adderall.
Adderall shuffle on here,
right?
So we had the Bare Naked Ladies, Beach Boys, and Slayer. And my story is similar to your first story because the second story, I don't know what the fuck you said because I was trying to read all the comments. So, so I'll just make believe. Anyways, my first concert was the Three Dog Night in Asbury Park, New Jersey at the convention center, which is not there anymore. And some of you guys know, Asbury Park is where Bruce Springsteen's from.
He was one of the best concerts too, man.
Oh yeah. Springsteen was a great concert. Yeah. But I remember going, I was probably about 12 or 13 years old. And, my uncle and aunt took me and my cousin, and we had to tell, we weren't supposed to tell our sisters where we were going and all that good stuff. And I remember just going to the concert, and I've never seen explosions inside of a building. And there was that came down, and, The Show Must Go On is like my favorite, Three Dog Night song. But my Uncle Tom and Aunt Pat took me to my first concert, and I wasn't using back then, but in my sober days, my best memorable concert is Kid Rock, man. Let me tell you,
he's talented.
amazing concert. So never seen him high or drunk, but I always seen him sober. I must have seen him 5 or 6 times. So that's my kind of two. Do you want to add one in there, Tiff?
Oh, I was just thinking that most of the concerts I went to, I was pregnant all the time. So I wasn't.
Yeah,
Do all your kids love music too?
What?
Do all your kids love music too?
Yes, they do. And what's funny is I went to this one, I was pregnant with Cam, and again, very pregnant. And it was Johnny Lang. And I screamed out, "I'm having a baby, Johnny." And he like stopped the show, like, "What?" And then everybody laughed and whatever. We were in it was a small venue. There was all these weird things that I used to do.
You said, "I'm having your baby."
Defects.
God.
I'm having a baby.
That is fucking clutch. That was good.
And we have a bunch of comments on Facebook too.
Yeah, look how interactive our Facebook got with this concert question.
I know.
John the Phenomenon. He's gonna check us out later.
We got
Bambi's Kid Rock.
Kid Rock Bambi, all right.
Nice.
I think Kid Rock is one that plays like tons of instruments, right? Like
I've never been to one of his shows, so I'm not sure.
Yeah, I've never been to one of his shows. I just seen him on TV, and I think he plays like the piano, the guitar, all these,
Who, Kid Rock?
Shows are awesome.
Yeah, Kid Rock.
Oh yeah, he plays everything. It's just amazing. It's just phenomenal concert. The first time I went to his concert, he said that when you buy a ticket, I'm going to give you 10 times what your ticket is worth. I'm like, yeah, what a bunch of crock of shit, crock of shit. And he did. He really
Yeah,
does.
lots of people are like, Garth Brooks. I went to a Garth Brooks show, and I'm not a country person, but man, it was an entertaining show. Lots of entertainment there. I'm reading some of these, and
country concerts are fun.
When I first looked at Jordan's comment, it started out Aunt Pam and Uncle Tom, and I was like, who's that? Like,
so Jordan,
John Denver.
Uncle.
Jordan, John Denver. I love it.
I know.
I'm like, I've never heard of Aunt Pat and Uncle Tom. I told you I'm not very. It's all the bleach. It wasn't the drugs. It was the bleach.
All right.
Oh my God.
Any concert updates, guys? You want to give us should we just do a show on the
all about concerts and music?
I could, yo. Oh my gosh. Let's talk about the vet and then Rolling Stones being there.
Yeah, right.
I can relate step 6 to concerts.
Well, we'll have a good algorithm this week because we'll have some good show notes with all these names for our search engine.
And Stacy said she met in Poughkeepsie Fairgrounds in their trip.
Oh my gosh.
Hey, whoa. That's my wife talking there. Def Leppard. What?
All of her stories are like wild and dangerous. Maybe we need to put Stacy into recovery. We have
from excitement,
Stacy.
From adrenaline, the adrenaline junkie.
Yeah.
Or like she's referred to down here, Miss Stacy.
Yeah.
Oh, Miss Stacy.
Oh gosh.
So before we get into step 6, I do want to, I don't even want to apologize. I'm just going to give a disclaimer that I'm echoing, number one, because I'm I am now podcasting from my new house in South Carolina, Charleston, South Carolina now, guys. So it's different. We have no furniture. My desk for work during the week is a box, 2 boxes taped together. I put my computer on it, my phone. I do everything right there. So we're just waiting for our furniture. So you want to talk about character defects coming out? Try to fucking move. Seriously, every character defect possible is waiting at the doorstep to come out, right? It is just insanely crazy.
I witnessed a few of them when I was at your house.
Yes.
On your packing day. No, I'm just kidding. You guys did great. You did really good.
It is a lot of stress, though.
Oh man.
And let me tell you, there is a lot of practice, a lot of 12-step practice when you move. There's a lot of I'm not kidding. A lot of my character defects have they didn't boil over, but they definitely boiled up. No doubt about it. And I was ready to fucking use them, apply them to everybody and anybody that walked into my space. But because of this program, because of my thinking, and because of and I'll be honest with you, because of these podcasts and because of what I'm learning, I was able to push some of that down. Now, it's progress, not perfection, like Carl said earlier in the Facebook live chat. So I wasn't like this holy guy walking around blessing everybody when they did something wrong. No, I was cursing people I'm still cursing people. The moving company, I'm still cursing under my breath. So anyways, so step 6, we are entirely ready to have God remove all these defect of character. So guys, a character defect is just something that, and I wanted to pull up, if somebody wants to pull up
I put it in the chat. I just put cheat sheet in chat.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then he goes and says it. Help.
Here it is. Yeah, this is it. Okay. All right. So that's the list that I have. Did you listen to that podcast, Skylar?
No,
It's all over in all of our literature.
So we have a whole list of character defects, and it's all through, like Tiff said, it's all through our literature. So resentment, anger, fear, cowardness. Is that what that is?
Cowardice would be fear.
Self-justification, self-importance, egoism, self-condemnation, guilt, lying, what is that?
Evasiveness.
Evasiveness.
Oh,
yeah.
that's a character defect. I like that.
Yeah.
Hate,
Yeah, because you're lying by omission, things like that, right?
jealousy, another big one. Jealousy, envy, laziness, procrastination, insincerity. I'm not the reader of the bunch, but
So insincerity would be, I don't really care, but
you look good today.
yeah.
Hey, you look
Valid
good.
point.
Or someone's crying right in front of you and you ask them if they can get you a Diet Coke.
Yeah.
Right.
Are you okay about that? I have to go though. I'll call you later and check on you, right?
That's a valid point, Ed.
That's a valid point, yes. My number one character defect is negative thinking. Immoral thoughts. Jesus Christ, that's every man on the fucking face of the earth.
It's everybody.
Everybody.
Perfectionism, intolerance, criticizing, loose
talk.
Like gossip, yeah.
Loose talk or gossip. Yep.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of character defects, and I'm sure we can add some in.
Yeah, there's definitely more.
Oh, there's so many more. Yeah.
So many. I just got
But those are the core. That's the core group.
Yeah.
That's the group of them, and we can put that in a Facebook live chat if you can.
Okay.
And we were talking about a couple readings today, and I do want to just start with what step 6 starts off at. Okay, and then I'm going to have Tiffany read something, but the first sentence of the first paragraph, this step separates the men and women from the boys and girls. I added the men and the women in there, but this step separates the men from the boys. And that is true, because this step is the step that we're going to be able to move on from. It's a step that we're going to grow from. This is a step that we're going to teach others from. Because if we don't get rid of all this anger, resentment, all this stuff, and we go to sponsor somebody, or we go to work with somebody else, or even just talk to somebody, giving our experience, strength, and hope, or even sharing in a meeting, if this stuff comes up in it, it's going to give a bad message. It's not going to give the right message to the people who are still suffering and still sick out there that might need some guidance. So when we take this step 6 along with 4, 5, and then asking God to get rid of our character defects, that's when it all comes into play. That's when we start becoming the teacher, right? That's when we start becoming that person who can help others out in the rooms, the newcomers, the ones who are still sick and suffering. Even like Tiffany said last week, the old timers who still might not get this program, that may be sick and suffering. I know I spoke on Bambi's meeting this morning, and I try to go to her beginners meeting every week. You know why? Because number one, I never want to be there. And number two, I want to bring it back to the beginning and know where I came from. Right. And that's two important reasons why I want to do that. But and that's another thing, being humble, being out there, being okay with going to a beginner's meeting. That's another, I'm not, ego. I'm not going to a beginner's meeting. I got 28 years clean. There's a character defect. I go to a meeting whenever I need to go to a meeting. So this is where it does separate the men from the boys. And it is a very important step that we get this not down perfectly, but down right. And some of us will be afraid to bring up some of our character defects, maybe even like, fear. I run on fear all the time. And I think we were just joking at the beginning of the show, or if it was off before.
I wasn't joking.
No, we weren't joking.
No.
Fear, I run on fear. I only know how to operate in fear.
Yeah. It's a survival skill for me.
Survival skill. Yeah, absolutely. So
I'm scared to let go of character defects. What would I look like without them?
Yeah. And it makes me, that's where my self-will and willpower come in, where I think I can control everything on my own willpower, or make my life different on my own willpower. Something with control, fear comes up, other things too, like with that fear, when I start getting rid of some of these defects, like you were talking about, Sky, like when we start losing these defects or not losing. Okay. When we become honestly willing to work repeatedly on our defects, because this is not a one-time step.
Commitment is a spiritual principle.
Yeah, the only 100% step is step one, right? Yeah. That's the only one we can do with perfection. But repeatedly we work on this one to develop our spiritual growth, and we do it, honestly. But anyway, my fear of abandonment come out, all of these things, that fear of failure, fear of rejection, when I start giving up these things that I've relied on my whole life as survival skills, that was my identity.
Yep.
But I like that.
Wait. Fear of rejection. The business that we're in is 90% rejection. 10%.
Oh, yeah.
I know, right? Isn't it like so crazy that that fear of rejection? Like, I think it's just a mindset at some point, because we're always being told no, or you're not good enough, or this or that, the other thing. And I think it might just be a mindset that we get to, and we don't want to let that go. We don't want to let that character defect go. I shouldn't say we, I meant.
Well, in our positions, our job, I don't even think of it as rejection anymore. I just think of our job as all about overcoming objections. Like that's what our job is to be.
Fear of rejection then? Why do you have fear of rejection?
I have fear of rejection for other things, because so my fear of rejection has nothing to do with my job. Okay. I have fear of rejection, like I won't be accepted for who I am. Mm-hmm. I don't like it when I feel like people won't believe in me, even though I know they do, like even though there's positive feedback, I still have that fear of rejection. Someone can tell me something over and over that I'm good at something, and I'll still have that fear. Really, that one time
are you
sure I'm really good at that?
That's what our head says.
Yeah.
They really knew who I was. They wouldn't
fear
say
of
that
rejection.
Shit.
Yeah. Not so much being told no, it's just like a disbelief in something about myself. But we all have powerful instincts to live. But once we become willing on this step, there's a huge spiritual growth, and we get to fully take those first 5 steps that we've done and learn what we did in those 5 steps. And that's how we do step 6, and but I do caution people that much like step 4, we can omit things here. I found. This is much like step 4 in that sense. Do you want me to read that daily reflections or?
Real quick, I just want to go off of what you just said. Just like step 4, we can omit things. And this is another step that we have to talk to our sponsor about. Every step is, I shouldn't say this step, but every step is, because
you can't spot self-deception. Yeah,
exactly. Self can't see self, right? Self can't see self. So if I'm sitting here saying, I don't have an ego, I don't have this, and then I buy into it, that's not good. I gotta have my sponsor, another human being, or even take criticism, or I shouldn't even say criticism, take constructive criticism from other people. Hey, Ed, you know what? You were a little harsh to that person the other day. Me? No, I wasn't. I'm not harsh. I'm a godly kind of guy. Guy, right? That is not how it goes.
Godly people are still harsh also.
Yeah, absolutely. But that's self can't see self.
There's if yourself can't see self, then here's one of the things you can do. You can list out your list of defects. And you want to so you list each of your defects and you're figuring out what they've done for you, positive or negative in your relationships per se, right?
Mhm.
So if you list out those defects, what has fear positively done for me? What has negatively done for me? So that you can actually see, things of like
And then
almost
write
like
the
a pros
asset.
and yeah.
Yeah.
Like what has it done positive? What has it done negative? And then that'll help you, because some of these it's a grieving process. When you let this stuff go, because you're gonna feel the loss on the both positive and negative side of things.
Yo, check it, Tiff. This is part of my image. What do you mean? Like, I'm
Yes.
gangster as shit. So being cold-hearted is what I be on the street.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yes.
this is an image I gotta peel. And
Yes.
who is Skylar really?
Mhm.
Yep.
My brothers would tell you she ain't that gangster girl. She pretending. to
No, me either. She's not, that's the same thing, right?
Yep.
She's just a
That's
small
definitely
town
grieving.
girl
Yep.
and,
Yep.
who's really kind-hearted and loving.
This goes back to the masks we were talking about last week.
Yes.
Yes, exactly.
Masks, these can be removed very easily with help from a sponsor, with help from other alcoholics and addicts, and maybe loved ones. These masks can be removed, that fear, the anger, not easily. Some will go easily, some will take time, and some, there's always, I believe there's always three categories: the easy, the moderate, and the hard, right? And obviously you go for the low-hanging fruit first, get rid of some of the the whatever, jealousy, whatever it is, those are the easy ones. Then you got your moderate ones that you kind of live on. And then the other ones that are so deep seated, like lying and fear and self-pity. For me, I'm just talking about me, is that it's hard to get rid of those because I don't even see them sometimes. Like when I sit on my shitty pity pot and I want everybody to feel sorry for me, I don't even see that. Then I'll be like, oh shit, I just did that. Like 10 minutes later, 10 minutes later, I'm like, that wasn't good that I just, was just the victim all, for the last 10 minutes.
And this is part of your review process at the end of each night, your character defects. Did anything come out, right? When you're reading through those passages, pages 86 and 87 in the big book, and you review your defects, did any of those things come out? And this is also one of those steps where you can perform a ritual, where you burn it and let it go, like that mask where you burn it and let it go. Those lists can be burned. But again, it's not absolute perfection. That's just what we're aiming for. We're open-minded and willing.
And they can pop back up at any time.
Absolutely.
I have codependency and I'm not in a relationship. So for a while I'm good, but then I get back to the relationship and codependency. Hey, here I am.
Yes.
Let's not forget, perfectionism is a character defect.
It is big time for me.
One. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So,
okay. So the June 7th daily reflections, which is on page 167. I love this one because it's called long-term hope. And that's what I really feel about this step, is that there's long-term hope, and meaning long-term hope, meaning not only just for recovery, but our spiritual growth, our personal development. All these things come from this step by constantly working on these character defects, asking them to be removed from us, and just trying to do the next best thing today, just today, not forever, right? I just need to worry about today. So it says long-term hope, since most of us, and this comes from the 12 steps and 12 traditions on page 65, if anybody wants to read it. Since most of us are born with an abundance of natural desires, it isn't strange that we often let these far exceed their intended purpose. When they drive us blindly, or we willfully demand that they supply us with more satisfactions or pleasures than are possible or due us, that is the point at which we depart from the degree of perfection that God wishes for us here on earth. That is the measure of our character defects, or if you wish, the measurement of our sins. And so then, you have your 7 deadly sins, which I list out in the book, which are brag, greed, murder, lust, gluttony, envy, and sloth. And remember, murder isn't just, killing somebody. That means It could be just talking poorly about something, a character assassination.
Mm-hmm.
Goes on to read in there, it says, this is where long-term hope is born and perspective is gained, both of the nature of my illness and the path of my recovery.
Wow.
The beauty of AA lies in knowing that my life with God's help will improve. The AA journey becomes richer and understanding becomes truth. The dreams become realities and today becomes forever. As I step into the AA light, my heart fills with the presence of God. I just love this. Is like it's hearted and starred, and I have stickers all over this page because I just love this page. I love that it says dreams become realities and today becomes forever.
Well, God is a huge part of this step.
Huge part.
If you struggle with that, I suggest asking people what they do spiritually, just to get insight. Ask around, what do they do spiritually? Get different insights, because if you struggle with God, that's okay. I was angry at God when I came in here. But I'm going to be honest, this step, we're really good.
But I think
Go ahead.
To the point, but we're just ready. There's no action. There's really no action. We just got to be ready. We got to figure out character defects at this point, because the next step is where we ask for the removal. And that's even tougher. But we just have to kind of come up with our defects here and be ready for God.
Yeah. Again, this is a beginning.
Yes.
A beginning, just like that 4th step, right? It's just a beginning, or just like the 3rd step, a beginning to believe in God, that belief in God. 3 and 6 work hand in hand, like Sky was just talking about. It's a huge spiritual growth step.
I think that this step is something that really takes people out. And I people say the 4th, but I think it's this one. And I don't mean
I do too.
Doing the step. I mean the actions, the behaviors behind this step. Because here's the thing, like, we suffer in silence, right? People with timer on here, with character defects flaring that they can't talk about, that they're embarrassed about, stuff like that. We suffer in silence. And then it takes
because we admit those things.
And we
should
start
be
comparing
forgiving ourselves. Yeah.
I'm better than, or I'm less than. Like these things happen.
Our pride gets in the way, right? Like,
again,
our fear gets in the way.
Your pride, it's especially early recovery. And there's a reason why you have to take these steps slow. I know, like at the beginning when AA was starting to go, they wanted to get to these steps really quickly. But when you get to step 6, like Tiff said, fear, pride, all this stuff. When that pride gets in the way, I know when I was using and drinking, I was never wrong. I was always right. I wanted to be that person, and it doesn't go away that easy. I mean, I still 28 years. I still want to be right. Once in a while. It's progress, not perfection. But I have to remember, I cannot let my pride and my fear take over. Right? I cannot let my pride and my fear take over what is right in my life and what the direction I'm going in my life, because it'll send me in the wrong direction. What's fear? False evidence appearing real, right? And that is bullshit. So that'll take me to a different direction. It'll put me off in a spin, and I'll be set back, and that's when all this stuff comes rushing back in, the self-pity for me, the fear, the procrastination, the perfectionism, that's when all that stuff will come crashing back in. And that's
if you are on Sober Pod, they have part of the 4-step worksheets. If you're the members only, they have a list of all these fears and things like that. So if you're looking for some of this stuff, because you go through that list, and in the big book on page 76, it tells you what you do in step 6. And that means, you pray. A lot of it's pray, and the prayer is to God, that he or she or whatever, your higher power, that they're accepting, you're giving all of the good and all of the bad, and and putting it in let go and let God comes from this step. Let go and let God, right? It says, I pray, my Creator, I am now willing that you should have all of me, good and bad. I pray that you know that you now remove from me every single defect of character which stands in the way of my usefulness to you and to my fellows. Grant me strength as I go out from here to do your bidding. Amen. So, and you've completed it. That's it. You know, like, it's just, there's so many things that you are doing when you go to the next step 7, but that's what essentially what you're doing is you're doing this action piece, following step 6, you know, but step 6 is the action and more action. And step 7 is prayer to get rid of all these things. So, you know, it just gives you, this is where the promises are starting to come true. This is where alcoholism, that complete desire for drugs and alcohol for me after the step was gone. Like I had no more desire to use or drink or drug. And it took me a long time to get rid of cocaine, the thoughts of cocaine. I don't know why it was the longest thing for me. It wasn't even my drug of choice, but it was the longest thing that stuck with me. But it was gone after this stuff.
I think you're muted, Ed.
No, you're not.
You're not? Oh, there you
I
go.
can hear you. Yeah.
His mouth was, I couldn't hear him. But you know, with this though, like, I like that, like when we suffer in silence, we like really have to speak up in the sense of like our pride and ego get in the way. But like, I heard one time a speaker say, like, you know, like your pain is your pain. And like, there's different levels of sickness around here. Right. And like your bottom doesn't have to be my bottom. So like I can actually save some people by explaining some character defects and saving them in that aspect to avoid it for them. Right.
Yeah. Raise their bottom.
Yeah. And then also like, I just want to share this with the world is like, your pain is the worst pain because you felt it. Right. And this, I heard a speaker say this, and your story is the worst story because you had to live it and go through it. So don't ever feel like, you know what I mean? Like, I love that he said that because suffering in silence is because I don't want to say X, Y, and Z is going on in my life.
Yeah,
you know
sometimes when that's why I love when we have speakers and shares that are based on our experience, strength, and hope versus our drunk and drug-a-log. Because there's, for newcomers, when they hear that drunk and drug-a-log, it either shuts them off because they think I wasn't that bad, so that means I'm not, or it's I can't tell a story as good as that one. I didn't do all that, right? So that not good enough again feeling, that fear of rejection comes up again. So I love it, like you said, Sky, when that's a perfect saying. I'm so glad that you said that.
Yeah, I had to write when you said it because I was like, that's so great because we all. I mean, like every time I share, I'm like, even if I just share on the floor, not even my story, I'm like, did I sound like an idiot? You know what I mean? But no, I didn't. It's my fucking truth. Like, why am I even question it? You know. But and you know, defects fucking. I've built some awesome things in recovery that defects have destroyed and took away from me.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely, and that pain is even worse. I feel right because I feel like I should have known better, and I start shooting on myself, and then it's this big vicious circle. Again, the importance of your community. Again, the importance of your voice. Our voice is the most powerful thing that we can have.
Absolutely.
So
absolutely. And our voice is, hands down, the voice is the most powerful. It could be the most powerful tool and the most powerful weapon because of that, that negative self-talk, all that craziness, like we were just talking, like you just said, I built up, everything I built up in recovery, my character defect knocked it down, and I had a kind of a moment the other day. We were on a meeting and you ladies were there, and somebody who normally doesn't give praise gave me praise on the meeting. And I'm like thinking to myself, really? I did that? And I did do that. I don't want to get into what it is, but that's that character defect saying I'm not good enough, fear of am I doing this right? You know what? Doing things right. Are we doing this podcast right? I don't know. There's no fucking book that says do the podcast right. Or there's no book on how you raise your kids. So we have to just understand and kind of have these character defects removed so we can be the best person we can be. And I think you said it earlier, Sky. My recovery isn't your recovery. My bottom isn't your bottom. And my character defects aren't your character defects. And I remember that, because when I look at somebody and they're doing well and doing this and that and the other thing, I'm like, oh my God, I'm 20 years clean. I'm not doing, have to, I'll use Tiffany as an example. And I don't mean this in a bad way, Tiff, but she knows that big book inside and out. I'm thinking to myself, I'm 28 years. I should know this shit. No, because that is not my recovery. That is Tiffany's recovery.
Right. That's my path.
Yeah, that is her path. But that's that character defect of probably half of them that we fucking listed on the page, right? That gets in my way, saying, no, you're not. Basically, no, you're not good enough. No, you don't know what she knows. And that's bullshit. And I'm not putting anybody down here. I am building myself up, because this is my recovery. This is the way I do.
I just thought of,
and it's my gift, right?
Exactly.
Like that's my gift to you, and your experience comes to me.
Yeah, but it just came to mind when you said that. It's like, just like I was the last one to know as an addict. Sometimes I'm the last one to know these defects are happening. So I'll see it in someone else and talk on them, like, but not see it in me. Like, so
yeah,
this is another tricky step with that aspect too. The disease is so freaking tricky.
Yeah.
Criticizing.
But here's the thing. I have people in my life like you guys that love me and are going to tell me.
Yes.
Like, and that's the thing about this fellowship, because there's I know a lot of yes people in the world. I got a couple people around here. I could just go to their house and we could have coffee and they'd yes me to death on anything I say.
Yeah. Yes.
I got people that love me and say, Skylar, that's some bullshit. What are you thinking?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well,
Like,
totally. I know. And you and I are one of those, actually the three of us are like, I'll call you on your shit. You'll call me on my shit, or I'll build you up. I'll put, set you up, empowerment when you need it, but it's not bullshit. It's not that bullshit. Yes. It's not that, what did they refer to it as? Disingenuine and not being genuine.
Yeah.
Okay. Insincerity.
Yeah. Insincerity. And again, like you said, I will say this though, like when you brought up the quickly, I knew what you meant, Ed, but I want to clarify it. It's not about how fast we do it or how slow we do it. It's how thorough we do it. So I don't care if you're ready to do that. You might be a very self-aware.
Is a big part of this statement.
Yeah.
And entirely ready to have God is the second part. Because there's no other name. It actually specifically says God. I'm sorry, y'all. It says it. You have to have him in the step. And check it. When I was entirely ready, it was fucking painful. It was never like, it was like, man, I'm a fucking pain. Y'all help me.
Yeah.
This is where I finally came to the point, because I remember I told you guys I was blocking that image of God, and I couldn't get it, and I couldn't get it, and I couldn't get it. And I think now, being self-aware from learning tools and being with all of you guys, in my community, it's telling me, hey, maybe it's because I was recognizing or identifying this man, and I've been hurt by a man. So I had this image or this, picture, and really it was more spiritual. This is a spiritual step. And it's about the spirituality of God. It's not about the image or the portrayal or the act of.
Yes, exactly.
And that's when I became open, and my heart filled up. It just did.
Well, I think when we bring God into our hearts, or our higher power, or whatever you want to call that, I don't think there's room for any of this stuff, right? Especially like meditation is big for me. And when I meditate, and when all these things come in, I just think of like God or my universe or my breath or whatever it is. And these character defects, when I'm meditating for that half hour, I'm telling you guys, I don't have one character defect in my life sitting there meditating, right? And that is such a great feeling. And also I can identify that what are these character defects, like when I'm sitting there meditation is another huge part of this step.
Oh yeah.
We have to think about what we're doing, and I'm just circling a lot of these character defects, and the one I have just recently circled was criticizing people. Like, I'm a believer, stay no negative thoughts, stay positive. But I'll also be the first one when I'm fucking pissed off or something to criticize somebody. You believe she said that?
Or even joking, even joking.
Yeah. You believe Tiff was saying that? Or, hey, Tiff, that is, we have to, you said it earlier, Tiff, words can be very powerful, good or bad. And we have to be careful of our words. And that is, again, that's, the criticizing. So guys, we're going to have to wrap up here in a second, but we still have a whole month to go on this step. And
yeah, there's a lot, because I put in the chat, we gotta do shortcoming versus defect, but we'll save that for next week. I put in that chat and I was like, oh, maybe I jumped ahead because we still have so much to get into.
Yeah, we have so much to talk about.
I'm so excited.
Actually, so
I can't wait to, and how these defects in recovery, I think I'm surviving with. I'm hanging from the fucking ceilings, lying and cheating and fucking manipulating, thinking I'm, we'll get into that shit too.
Yeah. And this is a whole healing process, right? And so we get to do this on Facebook Live with everybody, and people can participate. And again, healing process. It's not perfection. We're not complete. We never complete this step. We're forever working on it, and we get to do it together all month.
Professionals at this. We're not telling you this is how you have to do it. We're telling you our experience, strength, and hope, because our sponsor helped us. The people who came before us helped us do this. So this is not the word. This is not how it goes. This is how each and every one of our programs are worked, right? We really should make that clear, because there is no book that says exactly how to do it. It's the way we our sponsor brings us through these steps, the way we pray, the way we feel, and some of our character defects. Are we ready to let them go too? They might get in the way of this step also. That is another huge part of this step, is our character defects can stop us.
Procrastination,
right? Exactly. So
there's a passage on the bottom of the Life Recovery Workbook on page 56, and it's about going back to that discovering hope. Or what did I say with the top? Long-term hope. Yeah. This one is called Discovering Hope, and it says, when we are ready, God does his part. Our part is to get rid of excuses, stubborn resistance, holding on to the familiar, and fear of change. When we clear out these blocks and become entirely ready, it becomes clear that God must do the rest, because only he can accomplish the miracle of setting our feet on the path of life again. Remember, this is where the arc, right? The keystone, the thing that we're building to keep us going, and that foundation that we set in steps 1 through 5.
Absolutely. Well, Tiff, I know we have to end here because we have some time.
We got to keep it interesting. So next week we get people on. We got to end it here. Leave all hanging.
End on a cliffhanger.
Yeah.
That was a good way to end everything. And thank you everybody in Facebook Live for all those great comments. Hey, everybody. I mean, this was a really good interactive show. We a lot of behind the scenes stuff that we were talking to everybody at Facebook Live. Again, I'm gonna have to get it down. Like, I have to read and listen at the same time. And some parts of the show are like, what did she say? I'll just wing it here, So anyways, but Facebook Live guys, thank you very much. And stay sober, everybody.
This concludes this episode of Friends in Recovery, the Addiction Recovery Podcast. Follow us on Facebook for past shows and updates, and enjoy free access to twice daily support meetings. Friends in Recovery, the Addiction Recovery Podcast, is available on Facebook, Podbean, iTunes, and YouTube 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.